Good morning everybody and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Volmer, and today we're talking damaged goods. It's not the sort of video I like to put up, to be truthful with you, and but the thing is, it needs to be said and I need to put up this video because it really bugs me. Now this is a follow-on video from my last video that I did, which is a live stream that some of you may have missed. And as part of that live stream, I was talking about the issues that I'd had with my brand new wagons, and that's basically the theme really. So I got this Helgen cargo wagon, and like I said in my previous video, I'll just give a quick overview of this one. I bought this brand new. It wasn't exactly cheap. They're like about £42 a pop for these Helgen ones. And I had a number of issues with this particular wagon. And this is a brand new wagon. And like I said before, you expect to be able to pick it up, look at it, say, oh, what a beautiful wagon. I'm really pleased with these. Pop these on the layout and just see them run and have no issues with them whatsoever. But like I said in my live stream, it's taken me about an hour to get my Raiker 6. I think it's 6 I've got. Yeah, it's 6 of them that I've got, because all of them had some sort of defects with them. And it's just crazy that you're buying something brand new and you're having to spend time and effort to put them right before you can run them. And it just takes the gloss off of it, because you buy these things and you're really excited about having them. You're excited about receiving them. These are brand new, nobody's touched them. You know, these are yours, kind of thing. And yet there's all these issues with it before you even begin. And it's such a shame. And so this video is actually a follow-on from the video that I did with this. Just quickly, just to show you, because some people did say it was quite difficult to see. So let me just quickly explain to you the 3 issues. I had 3 issues with this particular wagon. One was the end of the wagon, which is clipped on the bottom here to the top here. And basically that wasn't clipped properly. The second issue was to do with the couplings, because you couldn't fit them in properly because they were so tight they wouldn't go in the holes properly. And if you push them too far back, you released the plate on the inside and it all fell out. And here, my third issue is with the bogies, because this center section here is actually separate from the main bogie, and that wasn't clipped in properly and that fell down, causing friction on the wheels, which meant that these wagons weren't free rolling. And like I said in the video, it does go back to testing. It does go back to quality control. You know, these people just seem to be just slapping them together or something and getting rid of them and sending them out and not really checking them. I don't know. So that was my first kind of gripe that I had last week. But what's prompted this video today is some other things that have come to light since the video I did with this. So earlier in the week, Paul Abs put up a video, and he's modelling Folkestone and Folkestone Harbour, and he bought 3 D-class steam locomotives, and he's had issues with 2 of the 3, so he says on his video. So if you're interested in that, please pop over and check out his video on the D-class, and he'll explain to you what issues he's had. And once again, these are brand new items. They're not second-hand, you're not the sort of things that you kind of expect, kind of go, oh well, you know, somebody else has had them, there's going to be a few blemishes and a few marks. You know, it isn't. These are brand new items. And it seems at the moment quite a common theme that we're having to purchase brand new items and then having to find time and effort to put them right before we can actually use them to our standard. I mean, at the end of the day, you wouldn't buy a brand new car and there's a big scratch on it and then you'd say, no, don't worry about it, I'll go to Halfords, get a spray can and I'll just sort it out myself when I get home. You know, it's a brand new item. You know, if you bought a second-hand car, you might expect it to have a dink here or a dink there or a mark here or there. You know, you'd expect that. But as a brand new product and a brand new item, you expect it to be perfect. So I'm sorry to hear of your issues, Paul, because that's not fair and it's not on and it's not right. You could hear the disappointment in his face and the air of resignation of having to put up with it, which is kind of where I'm coming from with my latest. So on my last stream, when I was showing these Helgen wagons, I also showed you some other wagons which were slightly smaller. They were HO versions, and once I sort of got them up against these, they didn't look right. So this week, I went back to my shop that I've been trading stuff in, and I decided to get rid of some more bits and pieces. So I decided to get rid of these HO wagons to get proper wagons of the right size, which I had a few of those. And I had a lot of odds and ends. I had a few EFE buses, I had some Hornby platforms, and all these odd bits and pieces, which I really just wasn't using. And I thought, well, look, I'm just going to put them in a big box, take them to the model shop and say, here you go, how much would you be prepared to give me? So the idea is I've got these Dapol tip hook wagons, which I bought some time ago. I've got 4 of them. And the idea is when I checked out his website, he actually had some more of these Dapol wagons. Not this particular variant, he had the ferry wagon logo variant. So that was the plan. So when I got to the shop, he offered me basically 100 quid. And I sort of said, well, you know, would you be prepared to give me the 120? Because I really wanted to get some ferry wagons and I wanted to get a rake of 4. And I wanted just to cover the cost of those wagons and those odds bits and pieces that I was giving him. And he said, yeah, I'll do that for you. But I'd also noticed on his website he did some Acura scale wagons, same type as the tip hook ones. They're JSAs, and although Dapol just call them telescopic hood wagons, but they are JSAs. And I noticed that he did do the Acura scale wagons. And I decided that I was going to get the Acura scale ones because actually they worked out cheaper. Because they were £60 a pack or £33 per Dapol one. So it worked out slightly cheaper to get the Acura scale one. And to me, it was a no-brainer because everybody that I've heard who've had Acura scale wagons have had nothing but good words to say about them. But I'm here to tell you that that isn't the case. Don't be fooled by the name on the box and the way it comes presented. So this is what I got. I got these 2 from Acura scale, which worked out to be cheaper than if I bought 4 of the Dapol versions, which is this one here. And I've been at work all day and I was looking forward to getting them home and opening them up, and I didn't even give it a second thought about these wagons. I just looked at the box. I knew that I'd heard absolute fabulous things about them, and I didn't give it a second thought whatsoever about the quality that I was going to receive from these Acura scale wagons. And how wrong was I? To be honest with you, I wasn't impressed at all. Not at all. In fact, there's a couple of words that came to mind. One of them I can't really repeat, and the other one I probably can, but I just probably won't. But what I will say is I was absolutely gutted, to be honest, when I got them. So what annoys me about the road that we seem to be going down is that a lot of the manufacturers seem to be coming up with this kind of thing that you're paying extra because you're getting extra. And you know, the models aren't what they used to be. You know, they're so much better, there's so much, you know, so much more detail. And quite frankly, if we're going to pay for the detail, then I want it to do exactly what it says on the tin. You know, I want it to be on the model, not at the bottom of the box for me to be picking up bits and pieces and having to glue them back together again. It's just not on, and it's just totally out of order. Like I said, you don't go buying a brand new car and expecting it to have scratches all over it and then just sort of get on with it and say, yeah, okay, that's fine. Don't worry, I'll deal with it later. Like I said, go to Halfords, get a spray can, and I'll tidy up the scratch myself. You don't. You just turn and say, no, I'm not taking it. Don't care if it's brand new. You sort it out, and that's it. But yeah, it seems that not only just with Helgen, but if I've got to have a moan about Helgen and what's gone on with this, and some of the items in the past that I've received which are brand new that haven't come up to scratch, then it's only fair that I have to mention the Curoscale, because I'm afraid it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Don't let the name on the box fool you. Don't let the presentation fool you. It's in my view, it's just rubbish, to be honest. No, I don't accept that at all. If it's brand new, and you know, if the presentation on the inside was as good as the presentation on the outside, then I'd be really happy. But the fact is, what was on the inside just isn't. So I'll open it for you, because I'm sure you all kind of... I've since actually repaired these, I have to say. I've had to repair them with super glue. So again, I've had to go out and buy some super glue to repair the ones that... And that some people have said, why don't you take them back? Now, as railway modelers, a lot of us will end up make, do, amend. That's how it works. Because sometimes you take it back or you send it back and you end up getting worse than what you received. I did do some research on this, and there was another modeler who, I couldn't believe it. He said these wagons were fantastic, but he named a number of faults that he had with his. And I'm thinking, how can you say that these wagons are fantastic when you've got all these faults wrong with it? It's actually the same faults as I've got with mine, but some of his were actually worse. And I just don't see how you just turn around and just put up with it. So, like I said, to most people, like I said, you get it like this. It's nicely presented. You think, fantastic, brilliant. You pop it out. You get a bag of detailing parts. But I don't know which ones I've repaired now. I know I've repaired 3 of them. Only one of them I think I haven't repaired. But the parts are so brittle and so fragile on these things. I'd rather they weren't on it. I'd rather they were just moulded. So this is the wagon. It looks beautiful. People say it looks beautiful. It does. So what issues have I had with this? Well, I've had issues as with some of the other people. It looks like this one hasn't got... I've had some of these where the little grab rails are broken. The little white grab rails are broken. A few of these are gone. On the inside, 3 of the 4, there's this, as you can see, there's a rail, and you can see there's a gap. Now this top rail has had to be glued back on on 3 of the 4. Some of them, both of them. Others I've just had to do one. I think it's only one that I've had to do just the one, but the other 2 I had to do both sides because they were both just rattling in the box. This is actually one that I've actually repaired because I've had to do a bit of a paint job on it because the glue seeped down and took off the paint. So again, this is brand new. I've had to do a repair job on it. I shouldn't have to, but it's on the inside. You kind of go, okay, I'll put up with it. You just close the hood, but it's just not on. It really isn't. To have these rails fallen off, I've handrails missing and broken. I've got some other bits rattling in the box, and I have no idea what they are because I can't figure it out for love nor money. So yes, they're nice wagons, and once they're rolling, it's going to be like the Helgen ones. Now the Helgen ones are sorted. They're okay. They're running, and they're on the layout. But I'd rather they didn't add the extra detail if it's going to make the wagon so fragile and brittle to handle, because you touch it, and if you touch it in the wrong place, you end up taking out a grab rail, you know. And the other chap, his was worse. Not only did he have the same issues that I did, which was the rails had fallen off on the inside, he had grab rails missing, he actually had the open versions, which I was looking at getting, and he had buffers missing. They weren't even in the box, they were missing. And he said he sent them back to Accurascale, and it's taken 6 weeks. And he's still waiting on some. He's got his wagons back, these ones that he had issues with, but the open ones that had the buffers missing, he's still waiting on the parts. And so that tells you what the customer service is like, and then why I wouldn't send these back to Accurascale, because God knows how long you'd have to have the hassle of packing them up, sending them back, having emails to and fro, or whatever, about what they're prepared to do about it, and all the rest of it, or phone calls. It's just, so in the end, it's like I said, for a lot of us modelers, you might as well just glue it back on and suck it up, really. But you shouldn't have to. It's a brand new it's a brand new item. You shouldn't have any issues whatsoever with these things. These things should be quality checked. They should have been tested. They should have been made sure that they are robust enough to be used, and they're just not. And the reason why I got these ones over the Dapol one was because of the reputation that Accurascale had for their wagons, and everyone's raving about them, how brilliant they are and all the rest of it. And it's rubbish. It's rubbish because you shouldn't expect to receive a wagon in this kind of condition to begin with, brand new, and then, if you're going to send it back, have such a poor service of waiting weeks on end to get your things back. It's just not on. So that's why I've ended up gluing it back together myself, and I'm just going to end up putting up with it. I'll give it a weathering job, tidy them up, and within a few weeks, hopefully I'll just forget about them, and they'll just be another wagon on the layout. But the whole point of getting rid of some of my other wagons was to get better wagons, better quality wagons. And no, I'm not impressed at all. They look very nice, don't get me wrong, but I'm afraid the gloss is taken off when you find that a lot of these things are it's just poor. It's absolutely poor. They give you such a lovely presentation box. They put it in this box to make sure it doesn't get damaged, but it's already damaged before it's even got to you. Before it's even put in the box, it's already damaged. So what's the point? So let's have a look at these Dapol ones. So this is the Dapol ones, as you can see. And this is the other thing, you don't get a coil load on the VTG ones. You don't get any loads. So on top of paying that, you don't get any loads with it. You've got to pay for them extra, which on the Dapols you get. Oh, it's a bit stiff. They have been out because I've run them before. This is the Dapol version, the Curoscale version, so you can see, and they're actually shorter as well. I actually think you get. I think for me, the Dapol ones are better, and that's the ones that I would recommend. If you're in the market for any of these two, I won't bother with the Curoscale ones. Forget that. Because look, I think these are better. I think these are nicer. Yeah. I mean, they've got lovely detail to these Dapol ones as well. The Dapol ones have got some lovely detail on it. And the only reason why I didn't get the Dapol ones is, like I said, firstly, because, well, there's 3 reasons. Firstly, the Curoscale brand, as I was at the time believing was supposed to be really good. And secondly was the fact that they had delivery that I sort of wanted. Whereas with the Dapol one, you get the Ferry Wagon version and this version. And thirdly, that the actual overall price of the Curoscale ones were cheaper. But to be fair, I think it works out roughly the same, because even though these are slightly more expensive, you do get loads with the Dapol ones, whereas you don't with the Curoscale ones. And also on top of that, these ones are slightly bigger, so you get slightly more for your money. So I'm going to spin you around and take you to the track. Like I said, if you see the Curoscale JSAs, I would check them very carefully before I buy them, quite frankly. Even the open ones were the same. Just make sure it's all there and all in one piece. But quite frankly, me personally, if I was to get any more of the JSAs, I'd be getting the Dapol ones. I won't be getting the Curoscale ones. And anything that I would get from Curoscale moving forward, I would definitely check a lot more carefully, because this is just not on. And it's not just, like I said, it's not just a Curoscale. It's Helgen that I had with the Ferry Wagons, the cargo wagons, and any other brand. Like I said, if I'm going to have a moan about Helgen and the way that they've done things, then regardless of the manufacturer, if anybody else brings this kind of quality and poor quality to the table, then I should by all means highlight it to you guys, because it's only fair that you should know. And at the end of the day, you know, it's not on that we're buying brand new items and we're having to glue them, repair them, and have that whole kind of gloss shine taken off it, because, you know, it's like somebody raining down on your parade, isn't it? You're looking forward to getting it, and, you know, you've got to spend an hour or how long. By the way, they haven't been put on the track yet. These are Curoscale ones, so I don't even know how they run. So let's go to the layout and I'll line them up and we'll see how they run. So here we are at the layout. And yes, your eyes do not deceive you. These are not the Tiphook wagons, the JSA wagons that I was just talking to you about, but this is my mail train. So I just wanted to quickly have a quick natter about these. I just got these this week, this coach and this one here, these two. And these are second-hand Lima ones. They cost me well under 20 quid each. And considering how old they are, these are like in really good condition. Okay, there's a mark on the roof on one of them, which is this one here. This one's near enough pristine and boxed. This one didn't come boxed, but that one was boxed. The only thing that's missing on this one is a buffer, which isn't the end of the world. But when you consider how old that these two are, these are ex-Lima parcel wagons, coaches. They are in fabulous condition. And this is something else you kind of look at with these new wagons that are coming out now, is the longevity of these wagons. How long are these wagons going to last with all these brittle bits and pieces attached to them? You know, are they going to last as long as these Lima wagons? And there's nothing wrong with coaches, and there's nothing wrong with those at all. I only had 3, so that's why I bought the other 2. and it's got the Class 67 at the front. It's got the GUV at the back. Sorry, just behind it, sorry. There's like a TPO. If I just bring it forward. Let's go to recall. Let's just bring it forward. It's got the TPO, which was kindly bought for me, given to me as a gift by my ex-boss Zoob, who bought that for me. And it's got a PCV on the back. I believe it's what they call it, PCV. I'm not entirely certain, but I'll just show it to you what it looks like from the back. So back to the JSA wagons. And as you can see, I've now got the whole rake together. So we've got the VTG ones at the back, we've got these tip hook rail ones at the front, and we've got a Class 60 pulling this rake, which I thought would be quite appropriate. So we're going to send that round shortly. And I think you can sort of see that there is definitely, it's definitely longer, the Dapol ones, than the VTG ones, as I demonstrated earlier. And now they're all on the track. These have not been run on the track, incidentally, so we're going to see how they run on the track and whether the back-to-backs are all right. Hopefully they're all right. But in my view, as I look at things as they are now, I am happy with what I've got. However, if I was to have the choice again, I would buy the Dapol ones. They're definitely more robust. You can feel them when you're picking them up. These are way too fragile and too brittle. And I'm sure that over time, these little extra bits of detail are going to probably end up disappearing without me even knowing about it. I've got a few that I've already missing a few handrails. So, you know, it's not great. As well as having to glue the rest of it. But when you look at it like this on the rake, on the track, it actually looks really, really decent. And they are nice wagons to look at. But I am sorely disappointed with the way they've sent them out and it's been presented. And once again, it's just exactly the same as the Helgen wagons. They really are. You know, now the Helgen running wagons are on the track. They've been running really lovely, and I suspect this will be the same for these VTG ones. It's such a shame that this is just, you know, not what I was expecting. And like I said, they're not as robust as the Dapol ones. You can feel it when you pick them up and put them on the track between the two. If you've got the two and you pick them up, you can feel it straight away. So let's go and send this rake on its merry way and see how we get on. So we're going to take this out of crawl now to see if the underneath detail comes up, so you can have a good look. This is the 60, followed by the tip hook wagons. So hello and welcome back. You might hear the Class 60 just winding down. So in conclusion to this video, what can I say about the Acura scale wagons and would I recommend them? Well, it's hard to say really, to be honest. I personally, I would only buy them if I could actually physically see them myself. And that's kind of how I look at it. I'd rather buy the Dapol ones. And to be fair to the Acura scale ones, I did have a back-to-back issue on one of the Dapol ones as it went round, but that's been sorted out. So, but I would rather buy the Dapol ones, to be honest. If I was going to pick one of the two, either the blue or the VTG ones, and you weren't too bothered about delivery, I would go with the Dapol ones. And that is purely because I think that there's a number of factors to take into account. I think the price is more or less the same. It really depends on where you shop. But from my experience, and this is all, I'm only talking personally from my experience, I've got both the Dapol and the Acura scale wagons, and although my Dapol ones were probably slightly, I can't remember how much I actually paid for them now, but they actually come with wagon loads. And like I said, in the shop, it was retailing at 33 for a Dapol, and it worked out about £30 for for the Acura scale ones. So although the Acura scale ones are slightly cheaper, you are getting more for your money on the Dapol because they are slightly bigger wagons. You do get coil loads with them. So to me, it works out roughly about the same in terms of the price point. It's not, I think it's good value for money. I also think that the Dapol ones are far more robust than the Acura scale ones. To me, the Acura scale ones are just not going to have that longevity that I was just talking about with the Lima coaches. I mean, the Lima coaches have been around since God knows how long. And so, when you think about that and you think, are these Acura scale wagons with all their fine detail going to last the test of time? I think with all that fine detail, you'll be hard pushed in, say, 10 years' time or whatever, to buy second-hand ones which haven't got any kind of blemishes on them at all. And I just don't think they're just that robust enough, to be honest. And from what I saw from the other chap on YouTube who put up his video about them, it sounds like the customer service over at Acura scale isn't going to be the quickest. And so if you then want to go down that route of sending your stuff back to them, if you've got issues with them, then that could potentially take some time. And that's something that again, is a downer on my view. Like I said, it's brand new. It should be absolutely pristine. And like I said, if the wagons were in a pristine condition and in an immaculate condition as the way it was presented in the box, then I wouldn't have had an issue with these wagons at all. But unfortunately, the presentation of the box, the sleeve, the way it was packed inside it was much better than what the actual product was. I'm sorry, but it's a no-no to buy something brand new and have things rattling around, and then you are having to spend time and effort and potentially extra money, as I did, having to spend money on super glue just to glue these bits back together again. And potentially you're then devaluing the item if you wish to resale it because it's damaged, and also you also have the potential of even causing further damage by gluing these potential items back on where they should be, and maybe damaging some other parts in the process with finger marks or whatever. So it's not on. So like I said, if I was to go out of either of the two, I would go with the Dapol one, and that's my own personal view. I would leave the Acura scale ones where they were, as Alan says, just leave them where they are if they're not right. So the Dapol ones, definitely, you know what you're going to get. All of those Dapol ones, none of them had bits fall off it when I opened the box, and they were really well presented. The presentation of them is still great, and they're just far more robust. So I'd rather buy the Dapol ones. Like I said, maybe Their other wagons are great. I mean, these are the only ones I've bought from them, but it isn't a good start, and I'm not best pleased about it. And but to be fair, they are running, and they are running really well. I haven't had to do any back-to-backs on them. They're just running seamlessly around the layout, so it's not all bad. So like I said, you know, and on the outside they do look good. But like I said, if you are to buy these Accurascale ones, I would suggest, if you can actually look at them before you buy them, then you might save yourself a lot of aggro and a lot of heartache by having to mess around, making phone calls, emails, sending stuff backwards and forwards. So if you can look at them first, I would suggest that you open up the box and ask the seller or the shop owner if you can have a look at them, just to make sure it's all there complete in one piece, to save yourself the aggro. It isn't just, I know it's not just those wagons, and I know it's not just me. So it is the open versions as well. Have a look at those carefully. Make sure all the buffers are there and all the railings are still attached and everything. It is a quality control problem, and it seems to be not just, you know, just Accurascale. There are other manufacturers like Helgen. I've also had my issues with those, as you know. And I've even had issues with Dapol in the past. So, you know, it just seems to be like these days you've got to be really, really keep your eyes open on what you're buying and just check it out. Anyway, I hope this kind of video enlightens you and may help some of you. I'm sorry if it's a bit of a downer one, but overall, you know, again, like the Helgen ones, you know, once they're running around on the layout, and they seem to be running all right, once I get them weathered up, that, you know, it should be just kind of like a thing of the past. It's just more an annoyance and a disappointment that, you know, they want you to pay extra, but yet the extras in the bottom of a box rattling around. That's just not good enough. If they're going to expect us to pay the good money for all the extras, then they should make sure that it's all there in one piece to begin with, and quality controlled, tested and checked, and not leave us to be the guinea pigs to do it. Anyway, on that note, it's goodbye from Mildenhall and Volmer, and until the next time, I'd like to do a running session. That's what I want to do next. So I'm going to have a bit of a running session, hopefully on the next video. And so take care, and speak to you soon. Bye for now.